Hey, what is happening? Woodsy Workout here, and in today's video I will be recapping Birmingham Hyrox event, giving you some advice on in-season training. So if you have another race coming up before Christmas, what should you be doing, what shouldn't you be doing, and how can you use the data from your last race to improve upon your next race. So Birmingham, what went down? It was huge, huge. It's so nice to see these events growing, and massive congratulations to everyone that completed it. It is no easy feat, and you are now officially part of the high society, so you should be proud. So first thoughts as a whole, what did I think? Well, pretty good. I think like the run course was nice, 2 laps. There was only really like one harsh corner, and you had the option to take it wide. There was quite a wide track. What I would say, like I was in the last pro heat, so I was really late in the day, and I found the run track not too busy. But I think that was just kind of the time of day. So what did you guys think? Because it seemed like it was a lot busier when I was watching around midday, and with those heats coming out in like groups of 50. I think, yeah, it might have been a little bit manic. So let me know what you thought. The stations, overall, all good as usual. Never any wait for equipment, which is always good. New Hyrox equipment was nice. Not too many differences. I found the sled push to be actually easier than last year. Not sure if that was like my fitness or the sleds themselves. I found the pull tough though. I think, well, they ran out of chalk by the time I got there. So I had to make do with what was on the floor, and then I struggled a little bit with grip. But yeah, drop a comment, thoughts on the sleds, because I know everyone loves to chat about the sleds. I will say, if it is your first Hyrox and you found them really hard, I'm not surprised. They are harder than most sleds in gyms, and they are just very hard to standardize, so it will feel different day to day, event to event. So I think it's just something we have to accept. But moving on, let's address race splits. So first thing to remember is the first run is longer because of where you started. So that first one is 2 and a bit laps. So your first run will be a little bit longer than your normal 1K time. And then if you are comparing Birmingham events to others, the thing to note is the size of the station zones. So because the station zones were so big, there were so many lanes of like skiers, so skiers, rowers, the sled push, sled pull, and I think that was it, because all the others are like you just work your way in and out. But yeah, because there's so many lanes, you had to run the length of the station zone to get to the one that you wanted, and then you had to run out of that. So that's not included in the rock zone time. That will be included in the time that you are at the station. For example, I actually timed my sled push on my watch, and the push itself took me just under 2 minutes. I was moving well, and it's definitely a strength, but the split time was 2 minutes 26. So it took me 26 seconds to run in and out of that station. And I would say, so if you're comparing it to other events, I'd say London in the summer, so London in April, that was a similar size. So that's probably quite comparable, but nearly all the others, they're much smaller. So yeah, something to consider. And when we're actually reviewing the data itself, firstly, I think it's important to have a think about how the race went on feeling itself before you start really digging into the times. So which areas did you find the hardest? Which areas did you find easiest? which parts did you feel you were gaining and making up ground, and which points did you feel you were losing time or like people were passing you. So for me, same as the others, I felt good on the ski and the row, even though I don't think I made or lost a lot of ground. Whereas I feel like the farmers and burpees were really hard, but I made up a lot of ground. I passed a lot of people. And then I found the wall balls and the runs slow relative to the athletes in my division. So I was being passed a lot on the tracks and then making it up on the station. After you've assessed it on feeling, then you can look at your splits and see how they match up. You may find there were stations that you felt were horrible, but you did well on, and maybe it's not a priority. Maybe you just don't need to go so hard at that part. And then if we are looking to improve within the season, if you've got another race coming up, you can't make a huge amount of fitness in a small period. So you have to look for ways that you can execute better and be selective where you focus your energy. So you want to grab that low-hanging fruit, and that will normally be your slowest stations relative to the competition. So when you look at your splits, you also have where you placed by the side of it. So with mine, you can see that these stations were pretty good. So I was 23rd on the ski, which I'm not that worried about because I know people come out fast and then fade. So stations like the ski and the row, they also tend to be quite condensed. By that I mean everyone's times are within a small range. So I consider it it's not as a non-issue for me. Then I was top 15 on all of my other stations apart from the wall balls, which I was 37th, and my overall run, which I was placed 72. So those are the two areas I can make up the most amount of time. I felt my running was a lot better than last time. I was 3 minutes 42 seconds quicker overall, and then but 3 minutes 13 seconds of that was all running. So it's a massive chunk. Running is a huge part of the race, and it's where a lot of people can make up big chunks of time. It's also something that can be improved upon fairly quickly. You got to remember, if we're doing London, we've got 30 days, and you can't really make up a lot of strength gains in that time. Strength is slow to build, but it lasts a lifetime, and cardio is quicker to build, quicker to lose. The next thing to address is your overall pacing. Did you fade towards the end? And the easiest way to see this is your run splits. So almost everyone, their run times get slower as the race progresses. By the way, if yours didn't, if you ran like a negative split Hyrox, then let me know, because I'm dead impressed. But the key is just how much slower the runs get. So the best athletes drop off the least amount. If we take a look at the top 5 elites in Vegas, and we go from the second run, because the first run was shorter, from the second run to the 8th run, their run times were within a minute. So there's little drop off. If you see yourself drop off more than a minute, then it's likely to be either an endurance problem or you didn't pace it right. So you need to start looking at doing longer workouts or experimenting with pacing within like simulations, starting at different speeds. What else can we be doing between now and your next race? Well, if London is your next race, or you've got a race before Christmas, then you really just want to sustain your peak and take those easy wins. Pacing and technique require no extra fitness, but will cut down your time massively. So now that you've got a recent race under your belt, it's fresh in your mind, you know what you need to work on, spend some time nailing that movement, work on it on its own and then start to integrate it into like a simulation or compromised running. I will be doing some future videos on exercise form and how to run simulations effectively. So, because one thing that I did notice is a lot of inefficient techniques, and I'm not hating on people or judging them. I don't look down upon it, but because I know like a lot of people are racing for their first time, and also when you're super fatigued, form can go out the window. I've been there, we've all been there, but I just see things that like I know you can make it easier on yourself, and a lot of you might not even realize you're doing it. But so for example, one of my clients, and before I say this, I want to give him a huge shout out because he's knocked a whopping 24 minutes off his last time. So well done, Lee. He took everything I gave him and totally executed it. But he said about himself that when he looked back at some of the race footage, he didn't realize what he was doing, and he felt like he was doing it right, but when he looked back, he was like, oh, I could have done that a lot better. So if you do have any race footage, have a look back, film some of your technique in the gym, compare it, see if you can clean it up a little bit. And lastly, I'd say just stay healthy. Racing takes a toll on the body, and trying to stay race ready or hammering yourself because you think, oh, I need to do better, can run you into the ground. Accepting the fact that not every race or simulation needs to be a PR. There's plenty of races in the season, and as you do more of them, it will get harder to improve your time. But the experience you gain and the lessons you learn from each one will make you a better athlete in the long run, and that's what I'm in it for, and I hope you are too. Finally, some exciting news is my gym, Coactive Health, is going to be affiliating with Hyrox, so we are going to be officially on the map. We will be doing Hyrox personal training, classes, courses for members and non-members. So if you're in the South Bucks area, come check us out at Coactive Health in Cheltenham St Giles. And if you're not in the area but you want some support, I do remote Hyrox coaching, and I will hopefully be coming out with a training plan soon. So whatever situation, I want to provide a resource for you. So any of those, just drop me a message on Instagram at Woodsy Workout, where you can find plenty more tips and tricks on all things health and fitness. Until then, have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.